Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another Premier Division preview show. We've a full set of fixtures this weekend for a change. Been a few weeks since we've had that. 4 games on Friday, 1 game on Sunday. We'll start off, Luke, because Luke's here today, with Bohemians and Dundalk at Dalymount Park. And the last time they met at Dalymount, they finished 2-2 earlier on the season. I'll be going to this, so I won't mind another 2-2 to be fair. Big game. Dundalk obviously with a last minute goal last week would avoid them because they're still unbeaten at Oriel, but away from home they could do better if we're honest about it. They've had 1 win away from home all season to be fair, so that's something that they look to change. Bohs on the other hand, obviously they'd be disappointed with the way they lost. I think Dundalk have had 2 away wins by the way this season. Bohs will be disappointed though the way they lost at Sligo last week, and particularly with the Sligo comeback for Europe, he felt that they were kind of there for the taking, at least to some degree, get a point. But a lot of new players at Bohs. Afalabi is the latest in. He might start in this game, who knows? But how do you see this one, Luke?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Tough game to call. It's going to be a good one, I reckon. You probably expect it to be a good crowd as well, as always in Dalymount, and I'd say Dundalk will bring a fair amount as well down, and so it has the potential to be a really good game. Obviously we seen with Bohs last week losing to Sligo, and they're all right. Like they didn't really play too bad in that game. Could have been a lot better though, and they sort of fell asleep for the 10 minutes and conceded 2 goals, and I think they were comfortable enough to that 1-0. It's a big game for them. I think every game now between now and the end of the season for Bohs is going to be big, because if they want to push Europe and see where they can get to and try and jump into that top 4, but I still don't think they will. I said it last week after the games against Sligo. I still think they're a level off the rest. You know what I mean? That sort of top 4, and even that 5th team as well. I still think they are a level off them. And team like Dundalk, I don't look. You mentioned their home form, and without that, they wouldn't be doing as well as they are. So it's a tough game for them, and tough game for Bohs as well. So it should be a good one, Keith. Say it's one you're looking forward to going to it as well. So that'll be a good one. Tough one to call though.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What do you think? What are you calling?
I think Dundalk will just nick it.
Yeah. I mean, Bohs was looking at their home record there where you're talking, only 4 wins and 11 at home this season. Something they'll disappoint. I think as well, a lot of their new signs, a lot of people might see it as a panic to get into Europe, but I see it more as a building towards next season, if I'm honest with you. And they'd hope to have most of those players for next season, and not to be starting completely anew again. So I think that's something they're looking at. I agree with you. I think they obviously still have a chance in Europe and could get in there, but I just think they're a little bit behind in terms of maybe a little bit of quality. So, but in this game itself, there's always a good atmosphere, and both play Dundalk as well. So I think I've got to sit in the fence in this one. I think I'll go for a 1-1 draw in this particular game. And I think Dundalk are just in a position where they want to consolidate where they are in the league and have a battle with Derry. I don't think they're going to challenge for the title, to be honest. That said, though, moving on to Derry, and Derry are home to Shamrock Rovers in the Brandywell. And I do think this is probably the last chance saloon for Dundalk and Derry, because if Derry were to win the match, let's say, and Dundalk were to win, they're still, so that's that glimmer of hope, because the only glimmer they have, I think, is the fact that Rovers are likely to be playing or will be playing a lot of European games as well. So that always gives them an opportunity, I think. But massive game on Friday. Derry will really be preparing for this match. Shamrock Rovers obviously have the game on Tuesday. So, you got to feel from Derry point of view, you have to sense a bit of blood here and really go for the juggler here, in my opinion. Interesting match though, isn't it? 2-1 in last season as well. Derry beat them, remember, the Brandywell with a late McGonigal goal. He's someone who's probably gone off the boil a little bit, even though he scored 10 goals this season, but a lot of them were early doors.
Yeah, he has dropped off. I did say that a few weeks ago. I think he has completely dropped off. I know he got a goal in the FAI Cup against Oliver Bond, but you don't really, you won't really talk about that one. But this game, I think every game that we're going to talk about today is a tough one to call. Do you know what I mean? I don't really think there's any game that sort of, chooses itself. And this is another one of them. This is a really tough game. I think Derry are going to be really confident going into this one. They did a good performance up in Oriel, and they'll be disappointed that they didn't hold on. against Dundalk the other night. Like, they will be disappointed about that, but they still have a decent performance, you know what I mean, and could have well have won the game. Like, see it out for the last few minutes, and they would have been ending Dundalk's, you know, unbeaten run in Oriel this season, like, you know, and you know, suddenly then they're going into this game with a bit more confidence. But like, they will be confident in going into this one because they have sort of raised their levels back up to where they need to be. In the last few weeks, you know, like, had some good results and that, and you know, the new signings have sort of added them a bit more quality, like the likes of Connolly and Glass and, you know, Graydon and Diallo. He's another player who had quality. So like, look, they're going into this one and they're going to fancy themselves, and I think Rovers, it's important for them just to, even if they get a point out of this game, you know, sort of put in a decent performance, get a point, or even try and nick it. But yeah, I think Rovers could do with a result. Like, they could do it, like, just not really losing the game, I think, you know what I mean, and not giving them two teams even a chance, like, you know what I mean, and not being letting them get too confident that they start pushing Rovers a bit more. But I don't see that happening, but I do think that Rovers could do with just getting a result here. They'd probably, to be honest, because realistically, like, they're going to be on such a high after last night, like, so they'll be going into this one, you know, still confident as well. And, you know, this might be one where we might see Jack Byrne employed. And it would be interesting if they go for him. So yeah, really, really tough game to call. But yeah, I have no idea which way this one's gonna go. Like,
yeah, I mean, they could start Maku as well to come on as a sub and that kind of thing. And they did arguably rest some players in the game as such as well, didn't they, to be fair, the other night. But the interesting from Derry's point of view, if Duffy starts, because he came on as a sub against Dundalk, and I saw him very close up because he literally was down the wing where I was. Yeah. He looked okay, but he looked a bit off for me. He's still a bit away for me from being fully fit. He was puffing and blowing there near the end as well, to be honest with you. But yeah, it'd be interesting, even as an impact sub for now type job. But I do wonder if he'll start. I wonder if Patchen will come back in as well, because he was close to being fit for Dundalk, but wasn't close enough. So I could imagine he'll come in as well. I do think, though, it's a game Derry have to win if they do have any chance of actually pushing Rovers. Yeah, I don't know. I sense I'm sitting on the fence of this one as well, for God's sake. I do think Rovers might do enough just to get anything out of the game, just kind of almost like, you know, if it's a 0-0, a 1-1, whatever, just we get something out of the game. I think they might do enough here to get a draw.
I'm going to go 1-0 Derry.
He's gone first. Drogheda United and Shelbourne, and this is it's always an interesting fixture, I think, ahead of the game park. And feels like ages ago when they played earlier on in the season. Shelbourne went there 1-2-0. I think that was Drogheda's first home defeat, was it, the season, Luke?
It was the first game, like.
It was literally the first game of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, because remember the Finn Harps game was called off.
Ah, that's why. I was wondering now, like, because the others weren't the first game, the others were the second game as such. Good point, yeah. So, yeah, that was 2-0, and obviously Shelbourne won the First Division title there a few seasons ago, winning 3-1 as well. So there's always something in this game. And look, in the table, obviously Shelbourne will be disappointed. 3 games in hand, like, with Drogheda in the league at the moment, and the 4 ahead. But they'll be disappointed, to be fair, that they haven't played the last few weeks, and that's understandable. So you wonder what kind of state Shelbourne are in terms of the fitness, up to match speed type fitness. That's going to be interesting, and I'm sure Drogheda and Kevin Doherty will look to test that early doors there.
Oh yeah, I know. It's look, to be honest with you, the last 2 games, I don't think the performances against UCD and Finn Harps were good enough. You know, we need a reaction. Drogheda just need a reaction here. Like, we need just a lot better of a performance, you know what I mean? And the crowd, I think, need to get right behind us and right behind the team and that. And it just has to be, you've got to make it difficult for Shels in this one. Like, look, Shels are a good team and they've improved as the season's gone on, like, and, you know, bringing in the likes of Matty Smith, you know, still having Sean Boyd up top, Moylan still there, you know, Shane Farrell still plugging away, like, you know what I mean? And these are all, and the young lads as well, the likes of Hikiki, who's still there, Gavin Malloy is doing really well, like they're a serious team, like, you know what I mean? And they're gonna continue to get better as the season goes on, and they have been getting better. Yeah, we've lost them twice this season. To be honest with you, I can't remember the last time we've actually beaten Shels. Like, we have not beaten them in a long time. Like, it's even when we were playing in the First Division. You know, I think it might have been that playoff when we bet them in Tolka a few years ago. They got 2 red cards. I think that might be it. But on penalties, we bet them, I think it was. I think that might be the last time we've actually beaten Shels. I might be wrong, but I can't really remember, like, you know. So look, it's a big game. big game for Drogheda. I think they just need a reaction. They need to get a result here. They need to put in a performance, and you know, be confident that they will do that. Like put in a good performance, because you know it has to be better. Like because if it's not better, then it could be in for another long night. Like, but they do need to put in a far better performance than we've seen in the last 2 games, because that's not been good enough. Like, you know.
Yeah, I think the defeat in Finn Harps, though, might have woken up a few people's heads, because sometimes they can get comfortable because they were in a comfortable position on the table and still kind of are, but sometimes you need a defeat like that to kind of just refocus. And I think they might refocus on Friday. So if I was Shelbourne, I'd nearly rather Drogheda 1-3-0 in Finn Harps than lost 3-0 in Finn Harps, to be honest with you.
Yeah, exactly. Like Shels are going to be good, but the thing is as well, Shels haven't played in a good few weeks. Like they're, I don't know what way teams react to that now. Like it's
I mean, they could be fresher. Like Shelbourne could be fresher, but they also could be cold in a sense. So, like if I'm Drogheda, you're Drogheda, and you're looking at it, you're you want to test that early doors and see what they're like. You know what I mean? It's funny when you don't play for a few weeks sometimes. When other teams are, that you can be caught cold, but you know, Shelbourne would be disappointed, as I said, that they haven't actually played any games, and like they're in a position there where they're a bit like Bohs in a sense, like, you know what I mean? They're in a position where they're still in a position that they could challenge for Europe. I don't think they'll quite get there, but they're still in that position. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on here. I think you know, one interesting facet with Drogheda as well is they've conceded 41 goals this season, which is only 4 less than Finn Harps, and you know what I mean. They're the 3rd worst goals against in the league. That's an interesting facet. Shelbourne generally good defensively as well, conceded 28 goals for the position they are in the league. But I do see, again, it's like the other games in a sense. I can't see a big scoreline here, and I do think it'd be tight. I don't even see many goals in the game, do you?
No, I don't. I think it's going to be an interesting game. Like I don't know what way Shels are going to approach it. I think Shels are going to approach it the way we probably expect. I think they'll probably go and just go and try and get a win. Like, you know what I mean? And Duff will have them playing in a sort of an attacking way, I think, you know what I mean? And, you know, use the quality they have up top, and Smith, Moylan, you know, Farrell, Boyd, like use all these lads and you know, try and get an early one. But yeah, look, Drogheda will still be, you know, Drogheda's still going to be playing with confidence. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think, like, I'm not saying that I haven't been saying that Drogheda's confidence are going to have dropped after the last 2 results. Like, I don't think they will, because, you know, they've built themselves into a good position in the league already. You know what I mean? That the team is full of confidence. You know what I mean? And they've shown that on any day in Headingley Game Park they can beat anyone, you know what I mean, like what we've seen this season. Like, so I think that as well as we're now, and like that Drogheda aren't going to be shy of confidence, you know what I mean, and you know, if they can get going early, like, you know, and get an early goal or something, and you know, get the crowd right behind them, then, you know, it could be difficult for Shels to come back from that. But look, it's a really tough game to call, and I'm really interested to see what way. I'm actually just interested to see what way Drogheda are going to set up in this game. But yeah, looking forward to it now, actually.
If you had to call it, what are you going for?
I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw, I think.
Interesting. I'll go for a 1-0 draw there. UCD and Finn Harps is arguably the biggest game of the week, actually, to be fair. You know, UCD are bottom of the table. Finn Harps are now 2 points ahead. That win against Drogheda and the style of the win, you would think, from a Finn Harps perspective, will give them a lot of confidence. Played twice this season, though. UCD went up and won 1-0 in Ballybuffet, and they drew 0-0 in the Belfield Bowl. So clearly UCD had the upper hand in the previous meetings, and Harps are yet to score against them. I fancy Harps for this one personally. I think you know, that win might have given them that bit of confidence, and you know, if anyone's even a little mini run, if anyone's going to get a mini run going together, it's Finn Harps. I still find it hard to see UCD doing it. There's a big gap in goal difference as well, 11 goals ahead, Finn Harps. But I do think if Finn Harps were to go to the Belfield Bowl and win, I think 5 points would be a massive gap. For teams that are at the bottom of the league, it's a huge gap. And something tells me that UCD wouldn't be too disappointed with a point either in this game, because it just keeps them in there.
No, it does. And look, they'll be pleased with how far they've probably pushed Finn Harps. You know, at the moment, like they're still, you know, within reach of Finn Harps, you know what I mean? If they get a win on Friday night, then, you know, they're seriously, like, that'll be another serious result for UCD. So, look, I think UCD could win this game easily, like, you know what I mean? UCD are capable, like, you know, they've still got good players, like, and I was surprised by the way they played against Drogheda that day. that Monday game, you know what I mean? I was very surprised by the way UCD played, but look, I was surprised with the way Finn Harps turned up against us on Friday. So like, it's a tough game. Like, I think I think it actually has potential to be a good game. I don't think it'll be the best game to watch though. It has potential to be, but I don't think it will. I don't think it'll be the best game to watch on the eye, but I do think that, you know, Finn Harps will just be down there looking for 3 points, and I think UCD would probably take a result like and see what they can do then. But look, it's a huge game. It's an absolutely colossal game for both teams, I think. And what way they're going to go about the rest of the season. Like, I think it's just a huge one to see what way they're going to do. Like, and it's one to be keeping an eye on, because, you know, I won't want Finn Harps to get a result anyways. Probably prefer the UCD to get a result here. But interesting game here. But again, another tough one to call.
I think McMuds is crucial for Harps, because whenever he's fit, he looks like, out of all the signings they've made from the season, well, he looks like the best one in my opinion. And when he's fit, he does look good. He's had a few injury issues.
It wasn't even putting him in the wrong position though. I've noticed, like, they played him in the right position on Friday night because he was unreal, like, and they had him more higher up the pitch. Like, I think he's been dropping too deep for them in the last, like, probably this season. But the last game, like, they very high up the pitch, they had him, and he was getting him behind, and he's very fast, and he's a good finisher as well. So, you know, if they can use him and utilize him in the right way, like, serious player there, like, and I've been very impressed with McWoods. I'd be surprised if he's still with Finn Harps next season.
That's another problem for them, but I think Finn Harps will win this. I'm going to go 2-1.
I don't know. It's a tough one. I'm going to go 1-0 UCD.
1-0 UCD. Fair enough. Then on Sunday, St. Patrick's Day take on Sligo Rovers, and the two teams are going to be in Europe on Thursday night. Massive game actually as well. I mean, there's a point between them in the table, 4th and 5th, and you know, the European games supposed to overshadow it a little bit for both teams. But I think it's a strange one, because I think, you know, you could argue Sligo can focus on this game a little bit more than Pats can. You know, because Sligo, be real, Sligo are likely going out of the competition, and Pats are in with a chance of going through. So it's an interesting one. I mean, Sligo have a good record against Pats as well. Don't know what it is with them, but even from last season, I think Pats might have beaten them once. But in the 3 other games, there was maybe at least 2 Sligo wins last season. And this season, earlier on, when they played at Richmond, Sligo came and won 2-1. And they looked really good that day. Liam Buckley was manager as well. And you would have been surprised if you said he would have been gone when they played again, you know, that kind of way. But it's a massive, massive game. And I think from Pat's point of view, they're going to have to show after the European game that they can get up for the game as such. You know what I mean? Because I do feel that Sligo will be more focused on this game, certainly, than Pats will be, I think. I'm not saying Pats won't be focused when they're playing the game, but you know, they're in a different position in Europe compared to Pats. So it's interesting, and they have a good record against Pats as well, as I said. I think it's because they let Pats have the ball, and I think when Sligo let other teams have the ball, it suits them better at times, and they can hit them on the counter attack. And they've got players like Mata, Keena is even a good counter attacking player. Carl Sullivan Fitzgerald suits them down to the ground, that counter attacking style, and they do have Pats' number. So it'll be interesting to see how they do set up against each other when they play on Sunday. Actually,
yeah, it's another intriguing game. Look, you mentioned there about will Pats be able to get up for it, and they've got to. You know what I mean? I think just simply they've got to. Like, they've got to put in that better performance.
At least they won't be travelling though. Like, no team will be travelling, so Pats won't be coming back from an Eastern Europe scenario or Sligo. So you'd like to think you can get a bit more from them in that case, you know?
Yeah, of course. But I think Pats could do without, you know, extra time and penalties tomorrow or whatever. You know what I mean? They could do without that extra minutes, I think. But look, they've had that sort of week. They've obviously had a tough few days after they played Sofia, CSK Sofia, because obviously the travel issues and that, so couldn't get home and whatever. Like, but you know, they probably would have still been quite rested when they were trying to sort all this out, you know what I mean, and trying to get home. They would have been, you know, probably relaxing in their hotels and all, and trying to get sorted and whatever. So look, they probably would have been quite relaxed, and you know, they've had it probably. Then they arrived back, I know, over the weekends. Was a Sunday, they arrived back Sunday morning, so that they could, you know, have this now whole week now to good few days, not a whole week, but a good few days then to, you know, sort themselves out and get ready for Sofia. And then obviously now they've got this game tomorrow, and you know, they'll be obviously mainly focused on tomorrow and trying to get through there. But you know, then you've quickly after that, you've got to turn your focuses on Sunday. the Sunday, and that's just it. They've got to do it, like, and they've just got to be up for that, and they've got to get a result here, because it's big if they want to be playing European football next season. You know what I mean? It's huge for them, because the top three realistically is probably going to pick itself. So that fourth spot is probably what Pats will be looking at. You're
relying on one of those other teams to win the cup, aren't you? Though. There's a decent chance one of those teams do win the cup. In my personal
most
opinion.
likely will be one of them three, because we've seen the record with the over the last few years in the cup with the so-called bigger teams getting getting wins in the cup. So look, you'd fancy Pats to probably get that fourth spot, but they've got to do the business, and they've got to make sure they do it, because they've got to be up for this game. I feel they just need to get a result here, and they could probably take a point here again, Pats, just to get through the game or whatever. But 3 points would be brilliant here for St. Pat's, and it would really, it give them the confidence then to push the third spot. You know what I mean? And see, can they get there? Because they go through tomorrow night. Then they've probably got more European games ahead. So it's a tough one to call again. This one, Sligo can probably turn their attentions to this one already. I do agree with that, because it's they're probably out. Like, they're 5-1.
Put it this way, Luke: if you're in a situation where I'd imagine Sligo, I don't think Sligo will play a weak team such against Viking, but they can do a situation where 45, 55, 60 minutes, all right, Keane, off you come. All right, whoever it is, like, off you come. You know what I mean? They're going to be without Buckley, though. He's going to be a big loss, because he's a leader for them at the back as well, in my opinion. So he could be a big loss in the next few months for them generally, I think.
Yeah, he's a huge loss. He's came on leaps and bounds, I think, as he's probably got older, like, you know what I mean? And
he's learned that centre-back position. Like, hard to believe at Cork, he's pretty much a number 10, you know what I mean? But he's such a good reader of the game, you see. Readers of the game can nearly play in any position, and he's got better defensively as well, I think. You know what I mean? He was always good in the ball and that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, he's a good player. Look, there's no other way of putting it. He's a good player, and he's probably an important character in the dressing room as well. You know what I mean? And sort of keeps the glue together. Like, I'd say he's one of them sort of lads who, the dressing room will miss him and all. But this is now got up to the rest of them to step out there. I've seen a piece there today that they're close to signing a fella from Swansea. Is it? I think
it was Cameron Evans, who was at Waterford the other year.
Cameron Evans, that's the one. Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah, he's he'd be a good signing, I have to say, Cameron Evans.
Yeah, he was all right with he had like a 6-month spell with Waterford.
Yeah, Waterford.
Yeah. So look, he'd be interesting, you know what I mean, and see what he can do. Like, but they probably could do that signing, you know what I mean. It's a big one, because look, you're not going to replace Buckley in the sort of leadership he has, but this is a tough game, and this is actually, I think this is probably the toughest game to call, because I don't know what way teams are going to react from Europe. Look, we mentioned Sligo, but I'm interested to see what way Pats come back from this from Thursday, and see what they can do here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for my third draw out of 5, to be honest with you. I'm going to go 1-0.
You're boring, Keith. Come on.
I know, yeah.
No, to be honest with you, I think I'm going to go 2-1 Sligo.
Oh, he's gone first. So, a few brave decisions there, Luke, this week. I sat in the fence.
I made some brilliant ones.
I know, brilliant, but they're all wrong. We leave it there, guys. Thanks for joining us. Let us know what you think in the comments, and subscribe to the channel, hit your bell notification button. Cheers again, Luke.
Cheers.